Hello, it's been a while and I've been off for a little while. I feel like ever so often I just need time to decompress and to relax, to stay away from noise and to stay away from so much clutter and so much noise around me. So I find it to be a common case for me to take some time and disappear. And honestly, I love that for me. It replenishes my energy, it makes me feel better, and it makes me just listen to myself a little more. Sometimes life can be so busy with maybe school, maybe work, maybe responsibilities, and then feeling it also with the constant noise of social media. It can be hard for our own voices to be heard. It can be just hard for us to see ourselves. We just get so lost in living the day to day that we forget to stop and thank this person that we are and tell them how good they're doing. And I feel like whenever I am like done with a stressful period, I just need to take time away from everything, away from everyone, to just be with myself for a while. And it's something that I've noticed it's a common denominator in my life. Even as I grow older, as I become more social, as I get out of my shell more, I still always need that alone time. I still always need that time to just come back to myself and just be a hermit, be in my own space for several weeks. I'm not talking days, I'm talking weeks. And in this time of reflection, I think I have just realized that I am a human being, and I have realized that I exist as a person and not just as myself. I have gotten to a point where now I see myself as an actual human being. I don't know if that makes any sense or that's just plain confusing, but it's like how if you look at someone else, you actually see that they're a person, you know? You see them, you see them doing things around the house maybe, you hear their voice outside of their head, you actually experience them externally, and hence you are very aware that they are a human being, a physical human being. But I feel like because we are usually experiencing our lives internally, it's hard to constantly remember that we are also human beings who other people experience externally. And I feel like for me, remembering this just helps me see myself more as I would see a friend or a neighbor or someone else who's not me. See myself with compassion, see myself with grace, be proud of myself, applaud myself, correct myself, see where I'm doing things right, see where I'm doing things wrong. And it's not something that I always do, but when I find myself in periods of silence, it comes kind of easily to me. So I have been reflecting for a while and I've realized that I am amazing. I am amazing and you are amazing. And the amount of things that we have overcome is crazy. And it's so sad that we don't give ourselves credit for it. I just looked back on my life. I sat down and I actually saw my life. I saw my life from primary school. I remembered my baby pictures. I saw my life in my second primary school, changing schools, high school, finishing high school, starting uni. And I was like, we have done so much. We have come so far. We have overcome so much. And I'm now choosing to stand outside of myself and say, Lily, you are amazing. Just recently, I was watching a video, and it's actually a YouTube video, a vlog by a certain girl. And she usually applauds herself a lot. Like she's usually gassing herself so much. And I remember the first time I started watching her videos, I was like, this girl is self obsessed. She's just everything is about her. She's constantly praising herself, but not in a like a vain manner. She does it in a way that is just full of self love and humility at the same time. She appreciates those around her, and her success is what affords people around her, her family, her friends, luxuries. And now she takes us on these trips with her. She's someone you might know, but I won't mention her name. And I just observed her and I was like, wow, she feels like she's so amazing. And really, she is so amazing. She has achieved so much and she actually sees that. I almost shrugged. She has achieved, hey, this sentence is going to be hard to say. She has achieved so much and she realizes it. She actually sees the good she's done. She sees how far she's come and she actually says it out loud and she's like, I'm so proud of myself, I love myself, etc. And she actually talks about herself in such a high manner, even in front of other people. She goes on these trips where she's printed her name on t-shirts, on merch, and her friends and family wear those t-shirts and they take photos and they have a blast. And at first I was like, she's very self-obsessed. She's full of herself, but not in a bad way. She's full of herself, but in a positive way. And then that's when I just asked myself, like, why do I see it as something that's bad? Why do I look at her and I feel a little envious of how she's able to appreciate herself? And that's when I realized I never really applaud myself. Like, I never look at my life and be like, wow, girl, you got this. Like, you're amazing. You've done so much. You you've gone so far and I'm so proud of you, I love you, etc. And most of all, even in front of people, like leave alone, even just on my own, in front of people, I don't do that. And I feel like some aspect of this might be tied to how I was raised and being taught humility, but that also is not the full story. I'm not just failing to applaud myself because I'm humble. No, maybe it's just because I don't know how to see myself externally. I really don't know like the root of this problem. I'm just trying to brainstorm and see. But ever since I realized that I do not see myself as amazing unconsciously, like I have to consciously sit down and look at my whole life and have an epiphany and be like, oh my God, I am amazing. And I don't know if it's something that comes unconsciously to anyone or you just have to make a point of noticing it. I mean, I also do see my faults. I see places where I made mistakes, I did not act right, but that does not also cancel the good parts. It doesn't cancel the things which I'm proud of. I know you might be like, why do you think it's important for someone to see themselves as amazing? It boosts your self esteem. The more you see yourself as someone who's great, someone who's amazing, the better your internal self talk is, and even your external self talk, the more capable you see yourself, the more readily you can be able to go after your dreams, the more you believe in yourself. And all these things are really important in, living a life which you want to be proud of, in going for your dreams and not settling for things which you feel are below you. So I think I'm learning. I don't want to put pressure on myself to constantly think of myself as another person, but ever so often, when I just sit down to reflect and meditate, I like to remind myself of how far I've come and to just see all those other versions of me and be proud of who I am right now. Sometimes I act in ways which shock me, Like I might be doing something so mature, like maybe communicating with someone about something that disturbed me. And in that moment, I feel like I'm just seated at the side looking at myself and being like, wow, girl, you are actually having a mature conversation instead of avoiding things. I'm so proud of you. And it feels so good, it feels so good to like see yourself from an outside point of view and be proud of yourself. It feels good to like see that you're making better decisions than you did in the past. I think for some time in the past, I maybe struggled with regretting things which I've done, but I'm only realizing right now that having those regrets was so important, because right now, when I see myself acting in mature ways, more mature ways than before, those regrets are able to stand out in my mind because I see myself acting in ways which I do not regret anymore. So I'm like, oh, I'm becoming more mature. I'm starting to put on a little bit more confidence because of that, because of seeing myself make decisions which I'm proud of. And I've just of late been overwhelmed with that feeling of being proud of who I am, being proud of what I've done, being proud of standing up for myself, being proud of how I've defended my dreams and so many other things. And I realize how important it is for us to see that. Can we ever be better if we don't applaud who we are right now? And listen, the same way I am applauding all the things which I think are amazing, which I've done and which I am, I also call myself out. You have to have both in good measure, be able to see where you make mistakes, call yourself out, and go out of your way to try and fix as much as you can. But also at the same time, being self critical should be balanced with being self empowering and loving yourself. And you need to kind of do both in equal measure or in good measure to be able to have a product of maturity and to be able to nurture yourself into someone better. It's like the more you age, the more you just become your own parent, the more you become the person who regulates your own behavior. Because when you're a kid, you had no secrets really. Maybe your secret was that you hid a donut under the chair or something like that, but you really didn't have secrets that you had to keep to yourself. But the more you grow, the more you have your own internal life, you have your own internal dreams, your own internal regrets, your own internal accomplishments and things which you just keep to yourself. And so the aspect of nurturing yourself and correcting yourself and standing up for yourself and against yourself comes into play. You actually develop a sense of parenthood inside of you for yourself. You have to get to a point where you can be able to call yourself out, like actually be a parent to yourself, because you just can't share your internal life with everyone. I mean, if you're lucky enough to have like really communicative parents who you can communicate to about everything that you're feeling and all your internal struggles, that's good for you. But I feel like everyone just needs to have a sacred internal world which you just keep to yourself, and having that just teaches you to parent yourself. So I have been maturing. I feel like that is the whole point of what I'm trying to say. I have been maturing, and in my maturing, I have noticed that it's important to see how amazing you are. It's important to acknowledge it. Say it out loud, Say it out loud. Say it out loud and hear it in the air. Hear those words hanging in the air. It's a weird feeling at first because we're not told or taught to be so vocal about our good qualities. I do not have much to say about that right now. If I have anything, I might add it onto this video, but I just wanted to voice my thoughts on that. It's not every day that I will have so many things to say about a subject. Sometimes it's as simple as 10, 15 minutes. And so maybe it can give you something to think about. I always want this space to just feel like a heartfelt conversation with a friend. And I feel like that's something I would tell a friend. It's just a little quote unquote an important detail in my life's progression. And I'm glad you got to hear it. Thank you for being here.